its kind in the history of the Fifth Republic. They said he was indeed very happy that the French people had shown that they were willing and able to engage in peaceful discussions away from the streets. But not everybody agreed with that statement. Many people in the room, including members of the Yellow Vests, said that the French government was the one avoiding a peaceful solution.
One can give the impression of hearing people, but that doesn't mean one is really listening to them. And the proof is the repression the movement is suffering. One can't say it's listening if at the same time one shoots and mutilates people because they're taking to the streets.
During that debate, the French President Emmanuel Macron said it was not true that protesters were being repressed. But for many people here in France, the French government has yet to truly listen to the demands of the people, and many of them will once again take to the streets over the next few days. Annelise Borges in Marseille for Euronews.
You're watching Euronews now. Stay with us here for more on today's top stories.
A tradition older than time. A sea of humanity, united in conviction. A journey to find yourself. Take the leap and experience infinity. Kumbh, come, live the spectacle.
Incredible India.
Euronews also brings all the latest international news to your PC, mobile, tablet and smartwatch. Euronews, all views.
Get all the latest with Euronews Now. Coming up.
Счастья, любви, всего самого-самого наилучшего.
Иди, у тебя день рождения.
Спасибо. 8 марта праздник.
Спасибо.
85 фотографий.
Здравствуйте.
Наступающим 8 марта
спасибо
у нас от
огромное.
вежливых людей.
Спасибо.
8 марта от вежливых людей.
Welcome back to the programme. A reminder now of our top story. The United Kingdom is putting pressure on Iran to release the jailed Briton Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe, who spent the last 3 years in a Tehran prison on espionage charges. The Foreign Office has granted her diplomatic protection, meaning her case is now seen as a dispute between the two states. Now, March the 8th, today is International Women's Day, a moment to mark the battle for gender equality. Protest marches are taking place around the world to highlight the dangers women face and push for equal treatment at work, at home and in everyday life. Here at Euronews, we're marking International Women's Day with a series of reports highlighting some of the issues. We begin now at the heart of Europe, where our correspondent Maeve McMahon has this report.
A group of anonymous EU staffers covering up the pictures of all the former male European Parliament presidents. The collective will go on strike on the 8th of March to call for equal representation.
In the European Parliament, we can see that politics are still done by and for men, especially with right-wing and strong men rising right now. It is super important that we stand our ground. I am feeling that there's a lot of men in suits everywhere, and also they're everywhere in statues. All the buildings, almost all the buildings in the European Parliament are named by men. Yeah, you can see it here on the wall as well. There is a lot of male presentation, but little female presentation.
It's not just a feeling, but a reality that this young woman wants to change. So much so, she quit her job running Amnesty International's Brussels office to try to become an MEP for Ireland. Not as easy as she thought.
It is very challenging for women in particular to get, selected to be a candidate and then ultimately to be elected, and that's something I discovered in my own journey. The obstacles facing women, whether it's the culture, access to cash, other societal expectations, are so great that it's simply not good enough to be the best.